You give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. Khalil Gibran. This is one of the best sayings of Khalil Gibran, which tells about the importance of caring and sharing. Good morning, children. Our unit 5th is all about caring and sharing. Today, we are going to start section 1, A Dog's Tale. I am going to read a poem. Just listen carefully. A dog sits waiting. A dog sits waiting in the cold autumn sun. Too faithful to leave, too frightened to run. He's been there for days now, with nothing to do but sit by the road, waiting for you. He can't understand why you left him that day. He thought you and he were stopping to play. He's sure you'll come back, and that's why he stays. How long will he suffer? How many more days? Written by Kathy Flood. So, children, you must be wondering, for whom is the dog waiting? And why is he waiting? What do you think happened to the person for whom he is waiting? Does the dog's behavior surprise you? Do you have a dog as a pet? Share with your partner any interesting experience you may have had with your dog. Now let's read a review of a heartwarming film about a faithful dog who waited in vain for the return of his master. Hachi, A Dog's Tale, which was released in July 2009. A Dog's Tale is the story of great love and respect between a college professor and the puppy he rescues on a snowy night. One does not need to be a dog lover to appreciate a film like Hachi, A Dog's Tale. It is a story about the friendship between a middle-aged teacher and a dog named Hachi. Directed by Lasse Hallström, the movie deals with themes of love, compassion, loyalty, and loss. Very early in the movie, we learn of how Peter Wilson, the main character, meets an Akita breed of dog, Hachi. Wilson, who is a professor of music at a university near Rhode Island in the United States, commutes to work by the train. One evening, as he is returning home from the university, a little dog comes up to him at the station. The animal seems to have been lost, with no identification for him to be returned. Wilson tries his best to get the dog back to the owners, but fails to do so. He sees no other choice but to take the dog home. And that is where this heartwarming tale begins. Hachi soon wins the hearts of all those he meets, including Wilson's wife, who is at first reluctant to keep him. She is convinced the dog must be returned to his rightful owners, who she believes must be worried for him. However, their lives soon fall into a pattern with the dog at the center. Hachi becomes friend and companion of these two. One Wilson can talk to, watch movies with, and so on. So, The beginning tells us that the main character, Wilson, is a music professor and he used to travel by train to his office. So one day while returning back from office, he met a stray dog at the station. He looked all around for its owner but could not find. So he had to take it home, where his wife, who was quite reluctant to take the dog inside the house, but then she agreed. And slowly, with the passage of time, Hachi became a part of their family. Wilson taught the animal how to fetch things, but it turns out that is not one of the skills Hachi is interested in picking up. The scene where Richard Gere goes on all fours to pick up a ball with his mouth to show Hachi how it is done is quite memorable in the movie. Hachi follows Wilson around everywhere. Each morning, the dog accompanies Wilson to the railway station, from where he catches a train to work. Every evening, at exactly the same time, Hachi runs to the station to greet his friend as he gets home from university. Their friendship does not go unnoticed by those around the station, especially not by the hot dog vendor who owns a food stall near the station. Those who see Hachi every day come to adore and appreciate his fondness for Wilson. However, one day, Hachi arrives at the station at his usual time and takes position, but Wilson does not arrive. We find out that Wilson had a fatal stroke while at work. At this point, the movie becomes a heart-clenching tragedy. How do you explain to a dog the concept of death? How do you tell him not to wait, to go home, and that his friend will never return? From that day on, for nearly a decade, Hachi still comes to the station every evening, expectantly waiting for his friend and companion to arrive. So this was the turning point in the movie, where Hachi keeps waiting for its owner, Wilson, and unfortunately, Wilson never returns due to a stroke at his work, because of which he died. So children, you must be very keen to know what happens next in the movie, right? So we will be telling you about the rest of the part of the lesson in our next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.